All right, welcome everybody. My name is Tyler Garns. I'm the founder and CEO here at Box Out Marketing, and this is our final Lifeline call focused on marketing strategy and the 6 ignored rules that are killing your campaign. So we went over in the beginning a few of the foundational rules, and we'll just cover those again real quickly in this call. And then what we're going to do today is cover the 3 rules that make up your tactical advantage. And then in doing so, you'll have a much fuller picture of how you can actually create campaigns strategically that are going to create results in your business. So we'll do that for the first 15, 20 minutes of the call. Then we'll open it up to your questions so that you can get help. If you're new to our open office hours format or to our Lifeline calls, the way it works is you just hop into the Zoom meeting, you click on the chat button, enter in your question there. It could be anything related to Infusionsoft, all the tools around or connected to Infusionsoft, your marketing strategy, the messaging, your landing pages, your website, whatever it might be, anything related to generating growth in your business. That's what we're here to help you with. So you submit your questions there, and we answer them. Oftentimes we can just answer the question right then and there. Sometimes we'll unmute you, we'll talk through it. We'll allow you to share your screen, or we'll share our screen. We'll walk through campaign stuff together. So that's the format. It's first come, first serve. We love doing this. We're really excited to help you guys with whatever you might be struggling with. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started with our strategy discussion here. So let me share my screen, and we'll get back into this here. So if you were here the last few days or earlier this week, you know that we've been talking about these 6 ignored marketing rules that are killing your campaigns. And first, we went over your business basics, and the business basics has to do with the industry that you're in, the stage of business that you're in, your competitive advantage in the marketplace, those types of things. We got to make sure that those basics, the rule here is that you don't want to fight a losing battle. If you're trying to win in a market that's shrinking, or you're trying to win in a situation where you really have no competitive advantage in your market, then you're fighting a losing battle. You're just not going to win that one. And then the next rule is around the economics of the business, and making sure that before you go and try and market and try and grow your business, that you're actually running an economically profitable model in your business, that you know how much it costs you to acquire a customer, and you know how much you charge that customer, of course. And in doing so, there's actually a profit there. And then on top of that, you want to make sure that as you scale and as you grow, that you get more profitable, where a lot of businesses actually get less profitable as they grow because you have to hire additional people, you have to have additional overhead. That's normal, but we want to make sure that the model is set up to actually get more profitable. And then the third rule is that your business model and your conversion model need to match. Okay, and your business model, we talked about kind of the 4 standard business models. We've got our local service businesses, we've got our online service businesses, we've got influencers, which are speakers, authors, coaches, and then we've got e-commerce businesses that are your typical, sell a widget, a physical widget, and ship it out to the customer. And so most small businesses fit into one of those 4 categories or business models. One question we get is, well, what about like a local retail store? It's a really good question. Local retail store has features of a local service because they're bound by geography, right? It's local. But then on the other hand, it operates much more like an e-commerce business in the sense that it's very transactional, right? And then we went over that grid of all the different characteristics of the different models. So if you have low price products, if you have high price products, if you sell what we call emergency services, things like plumbing and roofing, where someone might call you in the middle of the night, hey, I've got a problem, I need you to come and help right now. And then whether you sell products or services or both, those defining characteristics are going to help you know how to then set up your conversion model. We talked about how most conversion models that are taught out there are actually internet marketing conversion models, right? They fit much better for the influencer. But we can learn from them, we can pull from them, and we can utilize them in different situations. And then we need to know how in our different business models we need to adapt the customer life cycle so that our conversion process actually fits our business model. So those three rules are what make up your strategic foundation in your business. There's no sense going and defining campaigns, building campaigns, thinking about campaigns until the strategic foundation is set up and solid and you've gone through all of that stuff in detail. So next, we're going to start adding on top of our strategic foundation the competitive or your tactical advantage. So the first thing we want to dive into this morning is your offer. This is one of the most overlooked pieces. It's so easy to get caught up in the automation and the fancy funnels, in building all this cool stuff and segmentation and these third-party tools and all the different things you can do, because it actually really is pretty cool, right? But it's easy to get caught up in all of that stuff and forget the importance of the offer. Your offer absolutely must be compelling. It must be irresistible. It must be so exciting that people are just jumping to grab it. The reason is a great offer will overcome poor copy. That's one thing that a lot of people don't understand, is that we tend to focus on the campaign tactics and we tend to focus on the copy. And when an offer doesn't work, we blame it on those things, right? Well, the webinar didn't work, or the campaign or the copy was written poorly. The audience didn't quite understand what I was offering, whatever. Well, the offer itself, if it's really, really good, will overcome poor copy. And it's important to know as well that great copy will not overcome a bad offer, okay? You could have the best copywriter in the world write copy for your campaign. If the offer is not great, it will fall flat. So I want you to think back right now, take a minute, think back on offers that you put out there that haven't succeeded the way you thought they would have or should have. In doing so, hopefully you'll be able to identify that, yeah, maybe the offer wasn't as good as I thought it was. And this is, again, another one of those times where you got to kind of look at yourself in the mirror and be willing to face the brutal facts that maybe your offer is not good, right? And that's hard sometimes because we as business owners create these offers. This is stuff that comes out of our own heart. We spend time and effort thinking about this stuff and crafting the offer, and we know and we believe that what we deliver, our product or our service, actually is beneficial for people. We know it's great for them. But are they understanding that? Is the offer so compelling that they're jumping out of their skin to get it? If not, then we've got a problem there, okay? You got to be open to that idea that if your offer isn't selling like it should, your offer's bad and it needs to be fixed. So before you go looking at a bunch of other stuff and blaming other things, if you put an offer out there and it's not selling, first thing you should be looking at is the offer itself. Is this offer not quite the exciting thing that I thought it was? Okay. All right. So that's your offer. That is rule number one, is your offer, or rule number 4, I guess, is your offer must be compelling. It's rule number 1 in your tactical advantage. Rule number 5 is the message. Now here's where we finally get into copywriting and having a message that is compelling and persuasive, right? Your message must be right. So let's just ask a few questions here so that you can determine whether or not your message is right? So are you ultra clear on your avatar? Have you sat down and outlined exactly who your target market is, what they look like, where they live, how they operate, all the different demographic and psychographic information you can define about those people, okay? If you've done that, let me ask you this: does your messaging call out your avatar or your target market? When someone comes to your website or your landing page or your offer page, is it super clear who it's for? Hey, if you are blah, 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 this is for you. If not, then your messaging is not as strong as it should be, okay? Are you ultra clear on the problem you solve for your customers? And again, does your messaging call out the problem? Again, if people end up on your website, your landing page, your offer page, and it doesn't clearly state the problem that your audience has and that you can solve that problem, then again, you're missing the boat completely, because your avatar, your customer, might get there and they might be the right target audience. But if they don't see really clearly and obviously that you can solve a problem that they have and you've identified that problem, they're out of there. They're back to Google searching somewhere else to go find a solution to their problem. Okay. Are you ultra clear on the benefits of your product? And again, does your messaging call out the benefits? So when someone gets to your website or your landing page, can they see, okay, this is for me. They're calling me out, the target market. I see that they've identified that. Sounds like me. I can see that they've got a solution to a problem that I have. And then the benefits are listed. And I think to myself, yes, that's exactly what I want. I want to be relieved from that pain. I want that problem solved, etc. Because you called it out on your website or on in your marketing, in your emails, wherever it is that you're putting your messaging. Next, are you ultra clear on how your offer is unique in the market? And does your messaging call out what makes you unique? Okay. You could get those first three things right? You could be calling out the target market. You could have very clear explanation of the problem that you solve. You could be listing out the benefits in a beautiful way. But if they've just come from another website that does the same thing, why would they buy from you instead of your competitor? Okay. You need to be able to very clearly outline what makes you unique and why they should buy from you, why they should buy right now, or else there's really no reason, and they'll go back, and then it just becomes a price shopping situation for the customer, right? That is where their mind goes next. If there's no real difference between this one and that one and the other one, then I'm just going to find the best deal or the fastest shipping or whatever it is that I'm interested in at the moment, right? So you need to make sure that your messaging calls these things out. Now, before you think you need to go be an excellent copywriter, you need to study copy, you need to hire a copywriter, whatever, first just go and update your messaging with these four things, okay? If you at least nail these four things and you have a compelling offer, you'll do great, okay? You'll do great. You don't necessarily need a very expensive copywriter or super perfect copy that you need to go study and work on to make all this work. If you are clearly and obviously calling out these four things, and it's all in alignment with your offer and how your offer solves the problem, delivers the benefits for that customer in a unique way, then you'll do just fine. Okay. So oftentimes I hear and I get the sense from small business owners that they're just really, really stressed about the copy, and that they feel like it's this magic box, this black box that you have to have some special skill to be able to write copy that actually works in campaigns. Not necessarily true. If your offer is great and you nail these four things, you're going to do just fine. Okay. All right, rule number 6, and the third piece of the tactical advantage is actually our campaign tactics, okay? And the campaign tactics, you might be wondering, what is that? Well, that's actually how we move people from point A to point B along a path with the least resistance. These are our actual campaigns that we use. So we might determine, all right, we've got a customer, or we've got someone who opted in. Now we need to take them through a process of educating them and getting them ready to buy. What are our tactics that we could use there? Well, we could use a webinar. We could call them on the phone. We could send them follow-up emails. We could do a launch, right? Those are all different tactics. Those are what we typically think of as campaigns, but these are campaign tactics. Once we've outlined the strategy, our overall customer life cycle, we've got our offer together, and we've got the copy, the actual tactics, the actual campaigns that we build and implement, the way that we move people from point A to point B is the last piece to the puzzle. So do your campaign tactics follow your appropriate conversion model? That's a really important question, right? We talked about the business model, conversion model match, but if you then go to a conference and you hear someone talk about some fancy funnel and you just go implement that funnel without seeing if it really aligns with your business model and your conversion model, then again, you'll miss the boat there. Are you sure you're avoiding unnecessary steps? This is another common mistake when we talk about things like, okay, capture leads, then indoctrinate them, then convert them with a conversion sequence or something like that. I see people all the time utilize these steps inappropriately. For example, in a tripwire situation where we want to capture leads and then get a tripwire in front of them, we don't need the indoctrination sequence in between. If you've ever looked at your email marketing stats, you'll know that when people opt in and they get like an email, a confirmation email, Open rates on your confirmation email are going to be somewhere between 70 and 95%. Okay, almost guaranteed. Go look at your stats. Open rates are really good. And this is one of the things I lean on when people start telling me, oh, my deliverability stinks. Well, let's go see what's happening, because if they opt in, they're going to go and check for that confirmation email where you deliver the free email or the PDF or the video series or whatever it is that they're opting in for. If the open rate there is fine in that 70 to 95% range, then that proves that your deliverability is fine, right? I'm getting off on a tangent, but you get the point. But you'll see that your open rate is going to be fairly high in that first email. Over time, open rates go down, 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 down. And that's because, well, when they first opt in, they're purposely going to their email to get that thing, right? It's in their head. Later, they're busy. They've got other things going on. Maybe now, at the moment when they fill out that form, they were feeling urgent about what you offer. Now, maybe it's not so urgent. If your copy's not good and not compelling, not exciting, then they start to ignore it. It's not the most important thing in their inbox right now. And over time, open rates go down. So the last thing we want to do is put someone into an indoctrination series where their engagement is going to decrease over the next few days before we put a tripwire offer in front of them. Okay, so that's a very, very common mistake, is that we think, oh, we have to lead capture, then indoctrinate, then convert, and we have to do it in that order always. Well, not necessarily, right? It depends on, again, the price points and the conversion model and things like that. So if you have a tripwire offer, well, let's get the tripwire offer in front of them right at the point of engagement, right when they opt in. On the thank you page, give them the tripwire offer. The tripwire offer will often do the job of indoctrination, right? When they consume that tripwire offer, or even your initial free offer, your ebook or your video series or whatever it is that they're opting in for free, that stuff can do the job of indoctrination. What is indoctrination? Well, it's the process of getting people to know, like, and trust you. Realize that can happen through many different methods, right? Through just the landing page and the videos and the testimonials you have on there, through the information that they consume for free. It can happen through an email series, like an indoctrination series. It can happen through a webinar. It can happen through a low price product. There's a lot of different ways that can happen. So just make sure you don't have unnecessary steps in your funnels just because you're trying to follow some process that was taught to you. All right, are you avoiding dead ends? Again, we've talked about this before in other calls, but I'll bring it up again. Oftentimes, we see people creating dead ends in their marketing. And what I mean by that is you drive traffic to a landing page, people opt in for your free thing, they end up on the thank you page, and the thank you page tells them, hey, thanks so much, go check your email. That's a terrible way to treat someone who just engaged and expressed interest in what you offer, right? You told them to go away. You told them to leave the website, go to their email and check their email, okay? And so that's what we call a dead end, because as someone was taking a step towards your product or towards your service, you sent them away. And what we typically want to do is instead on that thank you page, give them another step to take, right? Like the tripwire offer we just talked about, or maybe they fill out more information on a form to request additional support or help or a consultation or information from you. Allow them to keep moving forward until they decide they're not ready to take that next step. So always give them next steps, right? Are you providing a slow track and a fast track? It goes back to that same idea, is when someone lands on that thank you page, the fast track is they want to move forward, right? They are ready to take you up on the tripwire offer. They're ready to take that next step. They want to keep moving forward. If someone wants to go through and buy all your products and buy your high-end product right now, give them a path to do that. But at any point along the way, when they decide, okay, I'm not ready to move forward yet, that's where the slow track engages. That's where you have email follow-up and other follow-ups and other ways to engage your people and keep educating them and keep building the relationship until they are ready, okay? So slow track is our typical nurture and follow-up process, and fast track is let them keep going. Fast track often gets ignored as well because we tend to think out and plan out campaigns in the way that software tools teach us, right? Opt them in, then follow up, then send 3 emails over the course of 3 days, then give them an offer, then do this, right? This kind of stepwise process where we think through it all logically and chronologically. Well, make sure that they have a way to skip ahead, right? If someone's ready to buy and you've got them in a 10 email series that's going to send an email every other day and the offer doesn't come until email 8, well, that's a lot of waiting around for them before they actually get an offer that they're already ready to buy, right? And so in the meantime, they might go search Google, find someone else who's willing to offer it to them right now. So make sure that we're not creating campaigns that are, because of the automation, holding people back from being able to move forward in their marketing, or in your marketing funnel, right? So again, the first three pieces that we talked about are what make up your strategic foundation. These last three rules that we talked about today are what make up your tactical advantage. When you follow these 6 rules, marketing now becomes something that's fairly clear, fairly easy to understand. It's not this mysterious thing where it's like, whoa, I don't really know. And every once in a while a campaign works, but most of the time it doesn't. And you got to be some, magical marketing guru to actually make this stuff work all the time. No, that's not the case. Okay. We need to start to ignore a bit all the people out there who teach particular marketing funnels that really only work in certain business models. We need to get zeroed in on your business model and how it actually operates, and understand that at a fundamental level that's a little bit deeper and more in alignment with the way your customers operate. We need to build conversion models that match with that, have the right kind of offer, have good messaging, and then use the right campaign tactics to actually execute on that experience for your customers. And as you do, then you're going to be able to launch marketing campaigns that actually work the majority of the time. Okay. So hopefully this has been helpful for you. I hope this has been instructive, that it's been eye-opening for you to understand how the things that you've tried in the past didn't work, and now you understand why they didn't work. And now you have a clear path forward on what you can do to create campaigns in the future that have a much higher chance of actually generating results for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into the chat real quick, see if there's any questions on the things that I presented this morning, and I'll take care of any of those questions if there are any. And then I'm going to just turn it over to Clay for him to handle the rest of the call. And handle all of your guys' questions regarding your campaigns or your Infusionsoft accounts and all those types of things, okay? All right, Scott's got a great question. He asked, what is a tripwire offer? It's a really good question. That is, internet marketing vernacular, right? So again, I fall into the same trap as all of you in doing a lot of this stuff, because I've been doing it a long time, and so I'll use phrases or words that I assume that people actually understand. So a tripwire offer is an offer that is typically under like $10. It's an offer that we utilize just to get people to get out their wallet and get moving forward. And so it might be something like, a very common one with internet marketers is something like a book, right? Here's my book. I'll give it to you for free. Just pay for shipping, right? That's a tripwire offer. Or you say, hey, I've got this video series on blah, 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 how to build great campaigns in Infusionsoft. It's normally $127. You can grab it right now for $7, right? Only $7. It's a tripwire because it gets someone who's moving along a path to stop and go, wait, yeah, that thing is so inexpensive that it'd be stupid for me to not grab it right now, right? And $7 or $9 or whatever, it's no big deal, right? It's an impulse buy. I can do it right now because the offer sounds so great. I don't need to consider it. I don't need to talk to anybody. I don't need to get approval. I'm just going to do it right now. So you get someone to purchase that tripwire, and then on the thank you page, since we've already collected their credit card, now we can offer upsells, right? What we call one-click upsells. And say, hey, in addition to that video series that you just bought for $7, we've got an entire course that lays out step-by-step processes for taking advantage of Infusionsoft. Hey, that thing's normally $497 for the course. We'll give it to you for $97 right now. Just click the button. And so that one-click upsell, it greases the skids, right? Or I should say the tripwire greased the skids already, because now the credit card's already in the system. They can just hit that, add to my purchase button, and they don't have to get out their credit card again. It's a much easier purchase to make at $97 because the foundation's already been laid, in the sense that they've already got their credit card information in there. They've already made a purchase along the same lines. So it's the same benefit they're looking for. The new product is just going to allow them to get it faster, get the benefits faster or easier. And so in order to be congruent with themselves, because they just said they want this information because they bought the tripwire, now in order to be congruent, then they need to buy the upsell, right? Obviously they don't need to buy, but these are psychological marketing things that we talk about, where people go through these processes and maybe subconsciously, these processes happen. So anyways, Michael asks, I came in late, where can I get a copy of the recording? Okay, so all of the recordings are inside the membership site. When you registered for the Lifeline calls, or for our open office hours, or you became a Success Lab member, you got access to our membership site. It's at members.boxoutmarketing.com, or if you just go to boxoutmarketing.com, you can click login. When you log in, you'll be taken to the dashboard. Right on the dashboard, there's a button for Lifeline. Click on the Lifeline and you'll be able to get access to all the Lifeline resources, one of those being recordings of these calls. I believe all of our recordings are in there up to date. Obviously today's recording isn't in there yet, but should be in there later this evening. Usually we get them up within 24 hours or so. Okay. All right, Clay, are you on? Are you here with us?
Yep, I'm here.
Excellent. I'm going to stop sharing my screen then. I'm going to turn it over to you. If you have a minute, you may consider just sharing a screen and hopping into the membership site to show Michael where he can access the recordings. But looks like Craig's got a question. There's probably other questions coming in. So we're going to go ahead and open up the call to all of you guys who are here to get your questions answered. Craig's going to handle your questions for you. I'm going to go ahead and run and get back to other stuff. But hey, it's been great talking to you guys this morning and sharing this information with you. Like I said, hopefully it's been valuable. If you haven't seen Mondays or Tuesdays calls, if you weren't on those, I'd encourage you to go back and watch the recordings of the conversation around the first 3 rules that we discussed. And that'll give you a little more context to what we talked about today. Okay. All right, Clay, you good then if I bail and you take the questions we have here?
Yep, all set. Thank you so much, Tyler.
All right, thank you. I think I need to take a second though, and even though you and I are logged in under the same account, I need to switch you to being the host.
Yeah.
If I hit the button, then it will end the meeting.
All right, there we go.
Okay, yeah, I think now I can leave the meeting safely.
Cool. All right, thank you again, Tyler.